You once stated that the role of Doctor Who was actor-proof. What exactly do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
By that I meant that the formula is so strong that given that the man who fronts it, and so far it's only a man, you know, and the BBC is a pretty traditional place, there's no reason why it shouldn't be a woman. But given that the person fronting it is professionally competent, it's the formula itself that carries the thrust of the program. I mean, no one's ever failed on it. No one. I mean, not even my successor.
You're being a little modest there, aren't you? It is possible to fail in that role.
Oh, I don't think so. Well, there's no evidence of anyone failing, no.
Well, isn't that a statement for the quality of the actors?
Well, I don't know. I hold on to the idea that it's the notion, the whole conception of the program that gives it its strength.
Getting away from series Doctor Who for a moment, in some of your earlier roles, particularly Nicholas and Alexandra and Sinbad's Golden Voyage, you played villains or less than heroic characters. Given the choice, would you prefer to play a villain or a hero?
Boy, that really is a journalist's question, isn't it? That's like asking which of your ex-wives was your favorite. You see, the thing is, actors I can't speak for all actors, but the few that I know, because I dodge them like the plague. Mostly I hate actors, especially if they're younger than I am, or better looking, or get more work or whatever. But when you approach a part, you can only play a part from the point of view of that character. So if an actor says, I've got a great part, I'm playing a villain, if an actor said that to me, I wouldn't want to pursue the conversation because I would consider him a bonehead straight away. You must always play the character from the character's point of view. But from his point of view, you know, I mean, I suppose Hitler and Stalin and a few of those heavy numbers probably felt bitterly misunderstood. And it always depends on the point of view. I mean, if you could interview Hitler's dog, say, you might find that if the dog could talk, it would say on channel 54 KTEH, it would say, well, I mean, I can't do a dog really. It would say, well, you've got to speak as you find, haven't you? I mean, I found him terribly nice. He used to tickle me tummy every night and give me a dog biscuit. No, I've got no complaints. I thought Adolf was lovely. You've got to take the point of view of whatever you're playing and not pander to the received notions of other actors or other directors or other audiences. And that way you might be surprising if you're lucky.
When you were a young man, you originally entered a seminary, or rather a monastery. What were your reasons for doing that?
Oh, desperation, really. It was just that I didn't know what to do with my life, and that was the only thing that was casting up at the time. I think I would have just as easily joined the Foreign Legion or anything to relieve the boredom of the life that was unfolding before me, since I have never been touched by education. The life that was unfolding before me all those years ago in a provincial city like Liverpool was very grim indeed. And somebody came along one day, another accident, but this time it was a long accident, came along looking for heroes. He said, I'm looking for young men who want to do something splendid. Well, I mean, it was a close encounter. And so I put my hand up. I'd have done anything to do something splendid, because the only way out of the pattern that was unfolding before me was through education, and in that sense I was inadequate.
Why did you end up leaving the monastery?
Well, I was in the wrong place, really, and I fell apart, and I met a wise man and had a conversation with him for a few hours, and he said, listen, if you don't get out of here soon, you're just going to be carried out screaming, because he assessed my motives and discovered, you know, they were too vague. I wasn't cut out for all that silence and all that self-sacrifice. I'm not that sort of generous person. You know, I wanted to be out hustling somehow, and I had to get started, and they got me out very kindly.
How long did it take you to realize this?
Oh, nearly 6 years. I told you I was pretty inadequate educationally. I thought very slowly in those days. I can think a bit quicker now.
That's quite a radical change from the monastic life to that as an actor. How did this decision come about?
It wasn't quite so simple as that. The next accident was I had to go in the army. And then it was in the army that I was convinced, because I didn't see any action in the army except in the NAFI queue or somewhere like that. I mean, I wasn't a proper soldier, but I was in the army. And it was towards the end of national service in the United Kingdom, and one got up to all sorts of tricks just to pass the time, and one of them was really very well-organized entertainments. And when I came out, I got a scholarship from the Liverpool authorities and got in the London drama schools, and that's how I got started. I didn't actually finish the course. They took me aside and said I couldn't earn my living. And they were nearly right. Not quite right, though. And interestingly, from my point of view, of the 42 who entered in my year, I think only 2 of us are still working that I know of.
Yeah. I once read that you were, quote-unquote, discovered by Laurence Olivier. What was the situation of your first meeting?
I didn't think that I was discovered by Laurence Olivier. I think Laurence Olivier was very kind to me, and I'm very grateful to him because he's a powerful patron to have had. He was very kind and very encouraging to me when I was at the National Theatre. And also, I understand, was instrumental in me getting the part of Rasputin in Nicholas and Alexandra, and therefore introducing me to Sam Spiegel and Columbia Pictures and, you know, the whole machinery of illusion.
Do you have any preference? Stage, screen, television?
Oh, like everyone else, I'm easily pleased by the very best. I just want the best work that's going at the time.
Is there any particular role you've longed to play?
No, I don't think so, no. I like playing the best parts. I had a bit of an uproar, actually, last year. I was in a disastrous production of Hedda Gabler. The last year or so, I've been playing title roles, which is nice for me. And so I signed to be in Hedda Gabler by Ibsen. And when I got there, I discovered I wasn't playing Hedda Gabler. I was playing Judge Brack. And Susanna York was playing Hedda Gabler. And she really didn't like the idea that I fancied the part she had, which of course is the better part. In fact, we really didn't get on at all well. It was a wonderful 12 weeks. Yeah.
You said before that you avoid actors like a plague.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, because they won't stop talking. They're too like me. I mean, if I go out with actors, I can hardly get a word in edgeways.
Would you ever go back to playing a continuous role in a television series?
To playing what sort of role?
A continuous role such as in Doctor Who.
Oh, I'd never get back to television to play for so long, no.
Why is that?
Well, because, I mean, there's nothing on television that runs that long that would interest me at all. I mean, most of it's such junk, isn't it? Well, I mean, of course we have to do junk. Everyone has to do junk. I mean, most jobs are junk, as nearly everyone in the street will tell you. So one settles for the junk and tries to do the alchemy and turn junk into gold, or, you know, like one tries to turn the dreariness and friction of everyday life into some bearable possibility. I mean, of course I would do it for money for a while, but no. Doctor Who was terrific and funny to do, you know. I mix it from now onwards.
Are there any problems in being involved with a long-running series, getting stereotyped in one role, doing the same character over and over again?
I think that there could be problems if one were playing a naturalistic part over a long time. But I mean, playing a fantastical part, audiences seem to suspend their disbelief when you move much more easily. I mean, since I've finished with the series, which isn't long, I played Oscar Wilde, which is a good contrast. Then I played Long John Silver in Treasure Island, both in the theatre in London. Then I played Brack in Hedda Gabler, and then I toured for the Royal Shakespeare Company in a contemporary play called Educating Risa. And there seemed to be no problem at all, no?
What was it like, the change in your life, waking up that first day and realizing that you weren't doing Doctor Who anymore?
I had prepared myself for it. What I really missed was the sort of grinding daily routine of the script meetings and the editing, which fascinated me. It wasn't just playing the part. I mean, I knew all the directors, and I knew all about the setups, and I knew about the repetitions. I was the constant reference point week after week. So I became very friendly and close to the directors I worked with, and the designers I worked with, and the technicians. So I was cut adrift then. I felt a bit down then. So I lay low for a while and stayed out of sight. But then, then I got Oscar Wilde, so that cheered me up no end, you know, because he was a marvelous poser and, you know, right up my street, really.
What was the play?
It was called The Trials of Oscar Wilde. and I had all the best lines.
What are your goals for the future?
I don't know. I think that I am being considered for Christopher Columbus, which is being made in association with CBS and an Italian company, I believe, called RE. And I'm being considered for that. Whether I want to do that when I read their script, I don't know. But I'll give them a chance and read their script.
Is there any particular actor or actress that you'd like to work with sometime in the future?
I once worked with Maggie Smith, which was very exhilarating. Yes, I admired her very much indeed. Yes, Maggie Smith, I think.
Since leaving Doctor Who, do you still follow your diet of jelly babies?
No, I don't. No, I don't. No. That was just a joke I used to put in, actually. And it came about when there was a scene where I was supposed to pull a knife out and threaten someone with a knife on some planet or other. And the producer wasn't there, and the script editor wasn't there, and I refused to use this knife, you see, and the director got very upset because he was younger than I was, and I could shout louder than he was. Anyway, I told him I wouldn't do it. And so he said, "What will we do?" And so I said, "Well, we're on another planet, south of Gallifrey or somewhere, and these people I'm talking to are aliens. They don't know what a knife or a jelly baby or a hand grenade or an FLN rifle is." So I snatched this chap and quickly held the jelly baby to his head and said, "Take me to your leader, or I'll kill you with this deadly jelly baby." And the fellow said, "Go on, kill me then." So I promptly ate the jelly baby and said, "No one gives me orders. Please take me to your leader."